Oh, I have it pulled up split screen. You're not there.
Something ain't. Something is not. And he did that so well.
He did.
That was a great intro.
Yeah.
Bravo. I
Take
was intrigued.
Live
You drug
stream
me in.
offline. Why are we offline?
Yeah. That's just why I thought we should have tested this yesterday.
Because I didn't get an
Testing
error. I didn't get a
rules.
denial.
You didn't get a denial, but
And I just got the
okay,
notification.
We're live, sort of.
Hey, there. Oh, yeah, there you go. I see it.
Okay, so we're live. So carry on.
Well, picking your nose, boys.
All right, as usual, we're going to stumble through this, trying to get the chat going. But anyway,
Too much rum.
the beer garden has decided to go to a single price menu. So when we originally set up the ADR for the beer garden lunch, we wanted to make sure we were in the lunch price window. And it looks like Disney's going to take that away and make it dinner price anyway. So it's just the breaks of going to Disney and dealing with price changes. We know there's going to be some attractions that are down while we're there. We already know Peter Pan's going to be down. We know the Tomorrowland Speedway is going to be down because they're doing work on the Tron coaster. The train is going down because the train tracks are going to get moved for the Tron coaster. So there's a lot of things changing and happening around the parks. I read recently, and forgive me guys, I'm trying to get the chat going here on the side. I read recently that Caribbean Beach is now about to do their launch. They're open at the front entrance house is now open again. The Sebastian's restaurant is open. So Caribbean Beach has now been refreshed and looks great. What else is going on? Gosh, the gondolas are coming along great. So just some things I wanted to update you guys. We'll do a much better list of what's closed and what's going to impact DDC 7 probably on the next cast. But for now, we want to get to the topic of interviewing a couple of the dads that are going to be at DDC 7. So let me get a quick transition here and throw those guys on the feed.
We'll apologize in advance because we have no idea why the video is not going, but we have live sound, so we're going to continue to cast. There we go. Whatever Joe just did, we went live.
There we are.
All right. So, in our panelist this week, I think Terry's probably going to do the driving with the questions, but we have Murray in your upper left-hand corner. We have Darcy in the upper right-hand corner. We have Jay in the lower right-hand corner. And then we have Chris in the lower left-hand corner. So these are the guys that we're going to be asking the questions and interviewing and just kind of get to know. If you've never been to the DDCC before and you may not know these guys, some of you do, we're just going to do a couple quick questions and get to know their Disney background, if you will. Terry, I'll let you run with it.
All righty. So let's start with Murray here.
Hey, everybody.
Murray, what's your name?
My name is Murray Conway. I am originally from Point Pleasant, New Jersey, currently residing in South River, New Jersey, and we're in the process of buying a house in Milltown, New Jersey. So I've got 2 kids, 2 boys, 4 and 6, and what's my favorite rum drink? My go-to is Captain. But I have been experimenting, and lately I've been partial to the Kraken. I switched over to the Kraken. Tonight I am drinking...
It's a gateway.
Yeah, exactly. And tonight I'm drinking Bamboo, a Bumbu. I just, on a suggestion of the guy at the rum store, at the liquor store. Pretty good. And
that one? Is it a spiced rum, or...?
It is a spiced rum. It was okay. At first time I drank it, I was like, it's okay. But it kind of grew on me. So, and what's a dad thing I do? A dad thing I do when the boys are off. Now it's a little different because they're both back in school. My 2 days off, that's not Saturday and Sunday. We kind of do a daddy buddy day, and we just kind of try and do something special. So me and the 2 buddies go to a park or do something special. The last Big Daddy Buddy Day took them to Six Flags water park up here. And then we just kind of hang out. And my son is now into Legos. So he's been putting do Legos together for the last 3 days since
Right on.
his birthday party this weekend. So he's got a couple Star Wars, and then he's the Lego Ninjago ones he's into now too.
Oh yeah.
So
What's his
so-
preference there? Is he liking the Ninjago more than the Star Wars? Or?
Right now, it's the little Ninjago versus the Star Wars, but he likes the Star Wars just as much, I think, too.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah. So
Good,
I'm
good.
teaching him well. My love from Disney comes from first time I went when I was 10. I had family down in Florida, and they we always go down. First time I went down was in May of '86, and I got the bug then. And
So
every time I went down,
86. That would have been well. That was just Epcot and Magic Kingdom then, right?
Epcot Magic Kingdom, yep.
Yeah.
I remember, it was also the first year my mom got the video camera, so we have almost the entire trip on
Oh, cool.
videotape. Stereo
Was,
VHS.
Beta or
Was-
VHS?
VHS. So
Was 50,000 Leagues
So
still?
it degraded.
20,000 Leagues was still
20,000
was
Yeah,
still
yeah.
up- yeah, still up
The
and
room's
running.
already talking.
Yeah, I do remember riding that, and always subsequent visits wishing it came back. I was there for the 15th, there for the 25th, and I hope to be there for the 50th. Was there for the 45th this year, or 2 years last year. So I got the bug ever since, and then a couple years. And the movies and all that. So
Yeah. So you've hit most of the anniversaries then.
yeah, that's why I definitely want to try and get the 50th in.
Oh yeah.
So
Do you have a favorite time of season?
I love Christmas. We went there a lot when we were kids, because we went down during Christmas season. We always did the luau at the Polynesian every year for New
Oh,
Year's
yeah.
Eve, because that's my sister's birthday. So we always did the late show for the luau, and then we would go out and watch the fireworks at midnight over the Magic Kingdom.
Oh, cool.
So that was always my, I always love Christmas time, and actually did the Christmas party last year for the first time. So that's the top hat and the vest you see in the pictures. That's was my first time doing the Christmas party last year, which I
Yeah.
loved, and that was one of the trip reports we did on podcast.
Right.
So. And,
Awesome. And this is your first DDC, right?
Yes, will be my first DDC. I have been listening to the podcast a couple years now, and the roundup. I really wanted to, I said I gotta get there. I gotta do it. So I asked the wife, and she graciously said yes. So here I am.
Yeah.
Everything's booked and ready to go.
They're like Kraken. They're a gateway too. Yeah. What you've been watching and listening to us and reading us hype it all up there and stuff. What are you looking forward to most?
I guess for just meeting everybody, in person for the first time. Because I've been talking about it with everybody, but I haven't really met anybody yet. This is the first time I'm seeing some of the faces on here. So really looking forward to meeting everybody and having a good time at Disney. I just love Disney, and can't wait to do a lot in the parks and drink some rum around the world and all that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Anything else you'd like to tell us about yourself?
I think that's it for me. You guys have any other questions or anything? But I think I answered all of the questions on your promptu sheet there.
Yeah. All right. Let's move to Jay there. What's the big guy think here?
Who's that guy? I don't know him. Tell me about yourself. Please, I must
some of
know.
us don't know you, Jay.
What are you talking about?
I think is Jay muted for you guys or just me?
I heard him say, "What are you talking about?" He's so far away.
No, I think Adam's got some audio going on in the background.
Oh,
He's chomping away.
We're losing audio on you, Jay. We need, I don't know if it's a mute or a mic or what.
You're live, damn it! Say something.
Could use sign language.
Better?
there we go.
Ditch the headset.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Is that any better?
Oh, yeah.
hear you there
we
good
go.
now.
Hey.
Hi,
I'm here.
buddy.
All right. Word of advice. I don't have a headset on anymore, so watch the language, fellas.
Yes, sir.
We keep it PG.
Yeah, sure you do. Mr. Bathtub.
Hey, that's only preview to the people who are actually in attendance. So we'll keep that on the DL.
That was one time at Dad's camp.
This
So
one
Dave,
time.
why don't you introduce yourself here now that we can hear you?
I will. My name is Jason Gilbert. I am from a small coal region town in Pennsylvania, Coaldale, about 2 hours from where Murray lives. Not real far. Murray's going to actually join us for the plunge this year.
Oh, you poor bugger.
What I do, I am a tech support supervisor for an ISP in Pennsylvania for internet provider in our area. So I've been there like 15 years. So I've been doing that. And I also am a independent contractor travel agent for a company planning Disney vacation.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
You also you're still with the volunteer fire department as well, I believe, right?
yes, I am an active volunteer firefighter. I've been that since I was 16. I will be 40 in a couple months. So more than half of my life, I've been active with our fire department.
Is active loose term at the moment?
Yes, active is a very loose term at the moment. When you're casted up to your knee, it's hard to put the bunker boots on. So, but the big thing with the fire department I run with, I'm third generation. My grandfather, my dad, my uncle, 4 of my cousins, myself, and now Kaylee actually is in the process of becoming a firefighter as well. So
Oh, congratulations!
it's in our blood. Yeah.
That's
Bravo.
When she's not at soccer practice, she's trying to get to fire practice. So
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, and you have a daughter and a son?
I have a daughter. My daughter Kaylee is 15. She's a sophomore. My son Corey is 12. I had to think because it was just their birthday, so I had to think what numbers they went to. He is currently in 7th grade. Just started a new school district this year. We took him out of a public school and put him into a private school to help him with the troubles he was having at his school. Some of you guys know he struggled a little bit the last couple of years with some children in his class. So we made the decision to send him to a public school in our area, and he's doing awesome. It's went from C's and D's to A's and B's, everything except religion class. But when you're doing it for the first time, it's a little difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I
that's
said, I could
awesome.
help with that, Jay.
Yes, Murray offered to help. So anytime I need it, I'm gonna Skype him in.
There you go.
That's good news.
So yeah, that's my family. I've been married to Leslie for 17 years. So
Yeah.
you guys, the guys on the half of my screen have met Leslie. The only ones that haven't are Darcy and Murray. So we'll hopefully see you guys in January. Everybody does come along. We do our family vacation in coordinates with the DDC. So everybody will meet the family in January that hasn't already.
Yeah. They're awesome.
And gentlemen, as you may not know, my children last year affectionately started calling the DisDads their uncles. Well, they've always called them their uncles, but they now changed it to the Dunkles. And then more recently, they've become the Drunkles. If you want to fit in, you have to be part of the
Not
Drunkles.
sure where they got that impression from.
Why is all the rum gone?
Corey was there when Adam was in the tub, unfortunately.
Luckily,
I was
my son was able to preoccupy him. They were pretty inseparable while we were in the party room.
Yes, they were Minecrafting.
There you go.
Keep bringing that up, but I like to defend myself. I was still clothed.
You were.
He was. He was.
Even
my
cold. It was cold there, man.
even my wife was
that was a
privy to
chilly
that
day. You
to that
needed to
side
warm
show
up.
that we had.
I'm sure
so.
all those bubbles helped keep it warm.
It did. That water was hot. It was hotter than the hot tub I got in the night before.
Oh,
They weren't into soap. They weren't the soap bubbles. He was making them on his own.
You know, beer and keto, it don't mix.
Oh,
now we all know that Jay hates rum, but if he was force fed something, what would be his favorite drink?
My favorite rum drink is just rum. I pretty much any rum. About 2 years ago at the DDC, I apparently drank a little bit of Kraken. I don't really know. And then in Colorado for Mark's wedding, I apparently drank a little more rum. Joe and Chris could probably.
oh, but Tim.
Well, what Tim shared with you, yeah.
Yeah.
What was left of the bottle?
Tim Hicks kind of helped me with the giant bottle, and then the second giant bottle that we drank in like a 14-hour period. So, I am favorite. One of my favorites is rum or is Kraken. Like I said, about 2 years ago is when I started drinking it, and I don't think I picked
You're
up
welcome.
a drink since.
I'm pretty sure that was my bottle.
Was.
It's a great
It was,
great
yeah.
go-to. Where's your love of Disney come from, Jay?
The first time I was in Disney, I was 9 years old. I didn't really enjoy it because I was there with my grandparents, and it was kind of, my grandfather kind of forced me through things, and I wasn't really appreciative of it. The second trip I made was my 8th grade year in my high school, and we marched down Main Street, and that pretty much, our high school band marched down Main Street, and that pretty much did it. You know, seeing that from that side, being backstage, coming out next to Splash Mountain, walked out across the front, and then down to Main Street, right out the same way the parade route goes right now.
Yeah.
It was in 1991, 92, and that was the start. And then seeing my kids each time they go, and still, you know, Kaylee's still getting tears in her eyes watching the train station show. That does it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's awesome, man. How often do you get down to the parks, and have you been out to Disneyland? I can't remember.
I have not. We
Nope.
we originally had planned to go last year when Mark was going to get married in Northern California. Leslie and I were going to fly out, do Disneyland for a couple days, and then drive up to the wedding and spend the time there. With changes, we kind of had to put Disneyland on hold, so we've only been to Florida. But we've also stayed at the Vacation Club Resort in Hilton Head.
Right.
On our way home, we stopped. We used that as our layover one night in 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So we stayed there and actually really enjoyed that. My aunt has a house right across the highway from where that resort is. And we've seen it a couple times at my aunt's house. And I said to Leslie, we just need to stay. We just need to do it one night so we can say we've been there and get a part of it. So we've done all the Florida parks. We've done, you know,
216 barrels of rum.
That's right. But we're actually in January, we'll be on resort number 13 in Florida. So
Wow.
Nice.
working towards them all.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
That's awesome. And the conventions, have you hit all of them?
No.
No?
At 4, 5, and 6. We missed the first 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
4, 5, and 6, and we'll be at 7.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. Awesome.
We originally had planned to go to 1, and then some things came up. Leslie's Dad actually got really sick right after we booked, so we canceled because we weren't sure what was going to go on. Spent about 3 weeks in the intensive care unit after having a stroke. So she's an only child, so we said it's really not a good time. Even if he's home and better, going away that far is not really an option. So.
No, your mind wouldn't be there, and good to be there for him for sure.
Yeah, and with them coming right after Christmas, there was a couple years it was not financially feasible, so we just had we started making it work a little bit better throughout the year. So. Yeah,
well, it can be a tough crunch for most people at that time there.
Yeah, that's why I want to get most of mine paid off right away.
Yeah.
Our final payment on our DVC resort will be made on Thursday morning.
Nice.
Nice.
Thank you. Kevin Bentley rented us points. We're staying at Boulder Ridge.
Oh, that'll
Sweet.
be nice.
It's finally my pick. We're on 13 and I got to pick. So.
Excellent. Yeah, we may have to check it out there.
Yeah, come on over and hang out. You are always welcome. I mean, some of you.
I'll be there.
No. Oh, wait, Ouchie, you're going to come and make breakfast because that's going to be our Penn State Michigan bet.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even have to bet that. I'll make you breakfast any day, Jay.
You didn't in Colorado.
I'll make you some script day pancakes.
I make bacon pancakes.
No thanks, Adam. I'll pass.
And I'll make Adam some almond flour pancakes. They'll be great for you. You'll love them.
I actually made some almond flours and coconut flour cinnamon rolls this weekend. By the way, were awesome.
Nice.
With my wife doing keto, Adam, I've got plenty of recipes to share, and I know you do too. So, and they are delicious. So we'll have to share.
Awesome.
Oh,
Yeah, I went off the keto wagon this week. I got to get back on.
We got 3 months, boys. 3 months. Right?
Yeah. Are we under 90 days or right at 90 days?
No, we're at 90.
We're 90. I want to say we're 90.
92.
90.
Well, that means we're under 90 days, Terry.
I'm 91.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll be
geez.
there right
Yeah.
on the 9th. There you go. Yep.
And that's Monday?
We are under 3 months.
No, that's Wednesday. So
Oh,
that's
Wednesday,
the actual
okay.
start of the DDC.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I'll be in
quick.
at 4 a.m. I'll be waking you boys up. I'll be making breakfast.
Yeah, I lost track. I got a different countdown.
Yeah, 87
Those
days.
going in December or November.
November 23rd, I'll be in New York, hopping on the boat with the guys. We'll be cruising to San Juan. Then I'll be in Disney World on the 30th. I have, not to cut Jay's interview off here, but I have tickets for the Christmas party that Friday night, staying at the Dolphin for the weekend, and then I fly home on Sunday. So a couple days.
Isn't there a phrase you're supposed to use right there, Terry?
Pardon me?
Isn't there a phrase you're supposed to use right there?
There is, but Jay
Said no bad words.
made me promise to keep my language clean, so I'll just say,
You turd.
have a wonderful trip, Joe.
Yeah,
Bless your heart.
At that point, why go home?
22nd.
Yeah,
At that
right?
point, why go home?
Right? Yeah. You spend more money in travel. Just stay there.
I'm working on
You
it.
know, this cheap hotel down the road. Just,
I got family. I'm native Floridian. I got family up and down the East Coast.
there you go.
So coming back to Jay for a second, what are you looking forward to most for the convention here?
Me.
Yeah, that's it. I'm actually really looking forward to the 5K this year. All 4 of us are signed up,
Nice.
so that's one thing we're looking forward to on our trip. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to do it. If not, I'm going to sucker one of you guys into doing it for me.
Which one?
There's suckers to be had.
Whoever's willing to get up at 4 a.m. and run with my family.
You can get one of those
I'm
one-leg
already all
Five
signed
to
up,
10.
so my crazy
What?
butt will already be there.
Just the 5, Adam.
If you can't make it, I'll stumble to it.
If you would see my leg right now, there's no way I could do it.
Oh, I know, dude. I feel for you with that. You've struggled with that for a long time. Maybe it'll get better.
I'm hoping. Hopefully surgery by the end of this month. That's the goal.
Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed.
Big time.
That's the one thing I'm looking forward to. And there looks like there's a very large list of dads that I haven't met yet that are going to be there. So
This is going to be a really cool year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dads I haven't met either. A lot of first timers, which is going to be awesome. And that, so it's what we hope for every year, right? Is that more and more?
We're either going to have a bigger club at the end of this year, or we're going to have a smaller club at the end of this year. I've not decided how this is going to work out. We're either going to collect more people, or we're going to run them off.
But hey, here's the positive side of it is we won't have to go far to find them. We won't have to chase them through the parks because most of them are staying in the house.
They might move out.
I have a couch that you.
They might realize they made a mistake.
They might.
I would love to be like have a surveillance camera in the house just to see what goes on when we're not there.
Well, there's a nominal fee you can donate to give kids the world and make that happen.
We're going to have one published.
That's gonna be great. Just to go back to my own room and be like relaxing on the couch and seeing the cluster F that's going on.
We plan to have at least one room that's on 24/7.
Oh Jesus! Please don't make it the bathroom.
It'll be like the pool room.
Pool
TV
room, yeah. Because I imagine that's where.
It will not be in any bedrooms or any bathrooms.
I will guarantee there will be one night that I end up staying there because I'm not going to want to take an Uber back.
Oh,
there you go. You can cuddle with me, Jay.
Joe did get confirmation. We finally have a photo. We do have an outdoor kitchen.
Yep.
Yes.
There you go. Nice.
We did find it.
The one thing I want to know, do we need to bring the cornhole table or the cornhole boards?
I don't know what people want to do with some cornhole, but
if you can fit them in the truck, sure.
I don't ask questions. I'm just not participating in every event.
Because there's plenty of room beside the house. There's like a little field right next to the house. So outside the pool deck, there's plenty of room to throw the football, toss a frisbee, play cornhole, whatever.
Right
Can we find out if this pool is heated or not?
It is heated.
It is heated.
We paid for the heat.
Good. All
So
right, I'll be jumping in as soon as I get there. I'll wake your butts up.
Yeah, back to the whole the live streaming of the pool room and stuff. That's also the room where the bar is going to be. So Chris will be running Cocktails with Chris. We'll have some live streaming of Chris doing his artwork at the bottom of a glass.
Speaking of that, what kind of cocktails is Chris going to concoct?
I don't want to hear anything about Chris and the.
Yeah. All right.
You don't want to hear about Chris and his cock. He's got chickens, man. He's been raising chickens forever.
So
well, let's finish up with Jay first.
Yeah, finish up, Jay.
Yeah, we'll run into the cocktails
that
with Chris later.
Frick off my stealing my time.
There you go. Yeah.
So Jay, is there anything else you'd like to tell us about yourself? Are those viewers who haven't met you?
I don't think so. I like rum, and I like rum, and I kind of like Disney, and I like rum.
Awesome.
And if anybody gets to the Christmas party before I do, please get my kids the special card for the sorcerers. Because we're not getting there. So if anybody can grab one, Uncle Joe.
I might have some from last year. I was supposed to send them to somebody and I forgot. So if I can find them, I'll bring them down.
Cool. Corey, my son, loves the sorcerer cards. He walks in and everybody hands him piles of cards. It's great.
There you go.
Joe and Adam and Terry usually hook him up with his cards at the convention.
I will be giving away an entire 60 card set this time.
We probably I can give one. I can put one in too. We probably have a whole set.
So at one of our meetups, one of our random meetups, some lucky dad will be handed a folder with all 1 through 60 of the base cards.
Why don't you, Adam? Another idea. Why don't you put that up for auction for Game Kids of the World?
I'm just going to make a big enough donation to make up for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Just a thought.
All right, Jay.
I probably got 4 of them.
All right, Jay. That's awesome. Thanks a lot there. why don't we move over to Darcy? We're going to make the young bartender wait because he's young. He's got patience there. Darcy there is aging by the minute before camera here. So
I appreciate that, Jerry. Thanks.
Darcy's got a radio voice. Go for it, Darcy.
The radio voice, yeah.
He does. Listen.
It's the allergies.
Voice and a face for radio. Nice.
Yeah, Notre Dame sucks.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Hey, Chris, before we get started, we are
Irish.
Losers.
Joe.
I'm winning.
Zip it.
You are very, very ugly.
So Darcy, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself there?
All right. So my name is Darcy McKillop. I live in. I'm one of the other Canadians on this trip.
Yay!
There's a few of us, I think, making the trip this time. So
Wait, we're letting more than one at a time?
yeah. There's actually
Three of us coming.
Three.
You're going to be overwhelmed.
They're invading.
We invade Florida every winter.
Oh, do I know it?
I live in a place called Douglas, New Brunswick, which is the east coast of Canada, just outside our capital, which is Fredericton. Some of you may have saw some pictures that I posted in the spring of our annual flood, which was really, really bad. But
That was bad this year.
that was really bad this year. And but luckily, I live on top of an old volcano, so I'm safe. But it's an interesting place in this spring.
You live in a volcano?
Top of an old volcano.
Oh, I thought you said in. I was like, holy shit.
He really is an evil genius.
Yeah. And I work for a not-for-profit group called Sport New Brunswick. We look after amateur sport in the province and provide services to all our provincial sport bodies and work with the government on sport policy and things along that line.
And send Kaylee lots of cool stuff from the World Cup.
As far as kids, I have one son. His name's Declan. He
Nice
is
good name.
Yeah, there's a couple of them here. He's 17, graduating from high school this year. We're hoping to head off and become a vet. This is what his plan.
Cool.
So,
Where's he looking to study?
right now he's looking at UPEI, which is University of Prince Edward Island for all the guys not in Canada. There's a vet school there, and if he goes there, he can actually apply to vet school early. And he has a possibility of playing some basketball too. And UPEI is not that strong of a team, so better chance of playing there than maybe another school. So we'll see where that goes. And we only have one child. My wife's Tanya. We've been married for 23 years, and she's a teacher, so that kind of dictates when we get to travel.
Yeah.
Favorite rum drink?
Yeah.
I'm not a big rum drinker. Our family grew up more on the whiskey side of things.
Okay. That's an acceptable alternative in this group.
This is my go-to right now, a little bit of scotch. Like to try different ones and then never fail with the beer. So that's, but as far as rum goes, I have the odd rum. I've never been a huge fan, but I think if I look at my cupboard, I can find a couple of bottles. I think there's some Sailor Jerry over there and a couple other ones. I can't remember now, but every now and then you can find a decent one that I'll drink. Never been straight up rum, straight up scotch every day. What got here? Dad thing? Oh, probably. Given the fact that, as Terry said, I'm aging by the minute over here. My dad thing probably is my real dad thing. I guess is I tend to fall asleep on the sofa with a remote in my hand. Frozen cup. It's not frozen up here yet, though.
This is the only Disney cup I had to put my Kraken in.
The big dad thing obviously is my life has revolved around sport, and now that my son has gotten involved heavily in sport, my weekends are taken up traveling to different events. So and cheering him on and supporting him and helping him get better in whatever he does. And I'd spent about 30 years as a coach in volleyball, 8 years at a university. And he used to travel with me on some of those road trips, so it was always kind of a cool way of bonding with him. So.
Awesome.
Yeah, the one thing that wasn't necessarily always good on the road trip is he was on a road trip with a bunch of university guys, so he was exposed to things like Super Troopers and Borat at a young age. But
What's wrong with that?
it wasn't anything wrong with it. Just told him not to tell his mother.
Yeah.
Hey, there's Adam.
Love for Disney comes from, well, we grew up watching Wonderful World of Disney every Sunday night.
Oh yeah.
And
Us older guys.
Yeah, older guys. And watching that made me always want to go to Disney, but we didn't travel a whole lot as when we were kids. So my first trip to Disney was in 2004. It was just before my son turned 3, and I was about to turn 40. And it was a pretty neat trip. Of course, the expectations were a little bit too high for the kid that hadn't turned 3 yet, but he had a pretty good time, and we all did. And then after that, we went back every year until 2011, with the exception of 2006. And in 2008, we did. My wife and I did a adults only trip that Declan didn't find out until about 2 years ago. So we kept that one hidden from him. After 2011, we kind of got into a little bit of cruising as well, so we kind of don't go as often. But I think, given some day trips that I've gotten when I've traveled to Florida to drive my wife's father back, I think we've been to Disney since 2004 about 14 times. So never got to any of the other parks, but love going back there. We never actually left Disney's property, I think, until 2011. Picked up at the airport and dropped back off when we were done. So it's a neat thing to do. So, and I haven't got to 14 resorts like Jay's. I think Jay said 14, but I think we've had 6 or 7. So a pretty good experience there.
Yeah. You have a favorite place you like to stay?
2 actually. The one we've stayed at the most is Pop Century. I love to do some photography work, and I don't think there's a better resort at least for nighttime photography than Pop Century. Yeah. Just all the stuff's around there. But the other resort that we love to stay at is French Quarter. It's a nice smaller resort, but nice bigger rooms and just lots of options of where you can get to from there, and the ability to just jump on the boat and head into I still call it downtown Disney.
Is that the which of the French Quarter, the Port Orleans or the
Port Orleans French Quarter?
Yeah. I really enjoyed that one a little more too.
Yeah, I think we've been there. Why.
Just like you say, it's smaller, a little more personable, and beignet. You can't go wrong with those.
We've been there 3 or 4 times, I think now, so it's a good spot. Last time we were down, we stayed at All Star Sport. Very first trip we ever did was All Star Movies, and it's neat to say you were there, but I don't really care if we ever go back to the All Stars. But hey,
agreed.
When if the price is right and their exchange rate is about 30%, sometimes that's where you go.
Yeah.
Still Disney property.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Exactly. Perfect. Yeah. Haven't been any other DDCs, although I spent many a late night watching the shenanigans on the different Facebook live feeds. So I think I was along for the ride on the near fight on the boardwalk.
Don't talk about that.
Good times. Good times.
A few of the pub crawls and a few of the evenings in the just back at the resorts, and that. I mean, that's how I got to know I think a lot of the guys that are going, even though haven't met them in person. So
Darcy is one of
we met.
He's always one of our guys that's always watching the videos. You can always count on him to be included.
Adam and I met now, and I don't think I don't know if there's anybody else that's going this year that I've met in person or not. I can't remember, but I've met a few guys now, but not a whole lot. Meet Brian Blatt most often because my job takes me to Toronto a lot. So
gotcha.
I'm there. We usually get together and have some dinner and a couple of beer. But but that would be the most. The weirdest DisDad meet I ever had was the very first time driving back from with my father-in-law from Florida. We spent the night in a little place called Drums, Pennsylvania.
Dude, really?
Really close to you, I think, Jay.
That is like, I used to work in Drums.
And the morning we were leaving, we were stopped at a gas station filling up, and this van pulls in beside us, and guy says something about, what about those penguins? And it was Dave Zerfast.
That's awesome.
Just a random DisDad meet in the middle of nowhere.
It's literally the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, he said, well, I saw that you posted that you were spending the night here, and I saw a license plate from New Brunswick, so I figured it had to be you because there'd be nobody else.
Surf is a stalker.
Yeah, Randall's calling you out. He said he and Jody are on your list.
Yeah, Randall and I met, and Jody, and Randall and Jody met Declan. They were up into Maine for a vacation, and we drove down into Maine to meet them had lunch and a couple hours. Got my first Randall hug, so I'm looking forward to another one.
Right on.
Come back, and it was a neat meeting there as well. When met up.
Don't tell Randall, but Jody has better hugs than Randall.
And then I think the last DisDad meet I had was got to meet CJ. We were on a cruise in March, so we went out to dinner and went to a Heat game and had a good time. So
Yeah,
awesome time.
CJ.
Cheers to CJ.
That's good. You got to meet him. Awesome. Yeah.
Maybe the one I miss.
What are you looking forward to this coming convention?
I guess same as a lot of the other guys have said so far. I think is to actually meeting everyone. I spent a lot of time chatting with guys online or watching Joe blow the motor out of his car driving back from Florida.
Good times.
So I feel like I know a lot of guys from just watching the videos, but just to meet everybody in person. And I mean, I love going to Disney, so getting the chance to spend some time at Disney, and it should be a good time.
Awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about you or your family?
I can't think of anything right off the top of my head. No, I don't think so.
Long-time viewer, first-time participant. Darcy, will be glad to meet you in person. Great that you're coming this year. Same with you, Murray. Great that you're coming this year. Great to meet you guys. Jay, as always, we'll see you.
Absolutely. I'll see you in November.
It's going to be fun, guys. Can't wait till we get to hang out, share some laughs, share some drinks, share some good times. There's a unique love amongst this group of guys, and getting to meet folks in person, it just makes it even that much closer and more bonded. I think everybody that's been in the past, when we get closer, we grow closer, and some of my best friends in the world are in this group. Yep. And I don't get to see them every day, but I guess I talk to some of them every day, and whether they like it or not. So yeah, this is an awesome time. I look forward to this every year, and the years I've missed, I have bemoaned the fact that I was not there, and have tried my best to not miss since then, just because it makes me miserable to see you guys having so much fun and I am not there. So
yeah,
that's true. I can relate to that.
Yeah.
So with that, Terry, you want to bring in the last of our panelists here and interview our designated bartender for this DDC?
No, leave him at home. We don't want to talk.
The young one in the group here. He's bringing our average age down by about
20 years.
No way, Jay. You're not younger than Chris.
Yes, I am.
Not even close.
How freaking old is Chris?
Chris, how old are you?
I am 32 years young.
Damn. I thought I was.
Got me by 10.
I'm the youngest one that I could see. How's that?
Yeah, got me by 10.
32.
I'll be 42 next month.
I was like, Chris has just barely started to shave here.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. Mm-hmm.
But he
As I
can't
did it
throw
for
a frisbee to
6
save
years
his life.
straight. What's that?
But he can't throw a frisbee to save his life.
I'm pretty sure I kicked your butt out there and showed you how to do it.
Because you
All
played
right,
at
Chris, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself? Start with your name, where you live, where you're from, what you do.
Who is my daddy and what does he do? Yes.
We are Penn State.
Oh,
Penn
my
State.
name is Chris Papchek.
That's how he says that.
Yes. 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 I got the weird freaking name. That was the fun thing trying to explain in DDC 5 when watching all the videos. Like, who's this dude? How do you say your name? And like, I just have to like spell it out phonetically so you just understand it better. And they're like, oh, okay, that's how it is. Okay, all right, we got it.
Here.
Oh, I haven't heard that one. Yeah. Seriously, I've had everything from that to pancake. So,
That's a good one.
spell check for the longest time would correct it to paprika.
Spicy.
It was yes, exactly. It was the standard. So, currently I am in Utah, and I never thought I would be here. But when the job comes calling, you got to go where it is. So here we are. We're in northern Utah, just north of Salt Lake City, and as you can hear from our ramblings of Penn State and Notre Dame and all that, I don't know if you could guess it, but I am a big Michigan fan, and that's where I'm from. So it's been a great season so far. It's been fun talking smack with Joe and Jay and any other Ohio State. If Michael's watching, him and I have a fun rivalry. So it was actually quite funny how he got me for the gift exchange last year. So I got a bunch of Buckeye stuff.
Nice.
In my gift.
You know I hate them.
I was like, thanks.
I hope this year.
Currently, I am working for the government. I can't tell you what I do, otherwise I have to kill you. So, I'm just kidding. I work on.
While you're hiding in the closet.
Yeah, totally. No, I work and rebuild airborne generators. It's not really all that fun, but it pays the bills and does well for us. So, including us, I have 3 wonderful Disney fans who I have molded and shaped into the perfect, how you could say, consumers of Disney for their foreseeable future. So there's Tyler.
But you never taught Tyler how to cook a hamburger.
Yeah, he'll learn. I got that griddle, so he's going to be cooking some hamburgers next summer.
I already taught him.
Okay, all right. All right, you flip a burger and flip some meat on that grill. All right, Jay. High skills over here. Tyler's 11, and I have Olivia, who's 6, and Freya, who is 4. They absolutely love Disney, and coming up on this trip is going to be crazy because I'm doing it for the first time without any of the kids. So that's going to be a whole different experience. When we're talking favorite rum drinks, my go-to standard for the last so many years I've been drinking is Dr. Pepper and Captain. It's pretty simple. It's delicious. It goes down smooth, and I can drink it all night. So, and I've definitely switched it out with some Sailor Jerry and some Kraken, but it's Captain go-to.
The Dr. Pepper really brings out the spices.
Exactly. I love it.
Drum.
It really just sets off a different flavor, and just love it.
I'll have to try that.
So that would be the only reason to have a Dr. Pepper?
Dr. Pepper, Mr. Pibb. If you don't have those, then mug root beer or another root beer, something to bring those spices out.
Yeah, it really sets
I will
it off.
convert everyone to that.
That's what and then had to go to the Fireball and Dr. Pepper.
I just go with the original Coke.
Ugh, no Fireball for me. I'd rather not. I'll regret that.
You're only 32, man. Come on.
Oh, it's not for me. It's not for me. It's the cinnamon. I can't do
Yeah, okay.
it. Talking dad things I like to do. Well, I give my kids everything I can about Disney. I give them everything I can that I did as a kid, and that included Disney and going to amusement parks. Luckily, we have a local park here that has some interesting rides. One of the steepest roller coasters in the country. Only held the record up until this year, till a new one opened up. So they
The
have
biggest
a
at
love.
Six Flags Great Adventure, right?
Yeah, I think New Jersey.
Yep, that's us.
Yeah, so yeah, our coaster, the Cannibal, is 121 degrees drop, elevator lift. It's a lot of fun. It's intense.
Which park is that, Chris?
It's called Lagoon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's only about 25 minutes from us. So this was our first year getting where it would be worth it. The kids were tall enough to go on a good amount of the rides. It was fairly cheap for the most part. I mean, it seemed expensive when I look at what a Six Flags annual or membership is, considering, gosh, they were like $120 for these, and it's a fairly small park. So luckily it includes a water park, so I've taken my kids to all those. Any chance we get, they've been to Six Flags in St. Louis, Knott's Berry Farm. In terms of outside of Disney, they've been to SeaWorld. I do Legoland, anything I can get them out to. I've tried to introduce them to how much fun it is, because that's what everything I did as a kid. So,
Which one? Colorado.
What's that?
What was the one you hit? Colorado.
Oh yeah, that was Illich Gardens. We did that while we were there. So yeah, even on a short trip, I do what I can to find an amusement park close by to take the kids. So
That's awesome.
Yeah. Let's see. Look at my love from Disney. It definitely started. I mean, I can go all the way back to probably when I saw Beauty and the Beast in the movie theater, which was the first movie I ever saw in the theater, at least one I can remember.
Sure.
And my very first trip definitely instilled that love, which was September 22nd, 1991, the day after my parents got married. We drove down from Missouri to Orlando, and for their honeymoon brought me on to go to Disney World. So,
that's cool.
Yeah. So, and I think back now, I guess that was the 20, right next to the 20th anniversary of Walt Disney World. And then our very next trip was the 25th. And I have very fond memories of that birthday cake.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought that's what the castle always looked like. I was like, oh, it's so cool. I know others probably don't have great memories of it or didn't think it was all that fantastic, but
yeah, especially those who ever had weddings at the wedding pavilion.
Yeah, but even those naysayers now look back on it as a unique time.
Oh yeah, I feel pretty privileged to say that I was there and I got to see it. And then my last trip was the year Animal Kingdom opened up, which is, I'm assuming, has become some of our favorite parks.
It's the best park. It's everybody's favorite park, whether they admit it or not. Some are just too
nostalgic on Magic Kingdom. Yeah. So it was an interesting time after that, because there was a few trips to Universal in between there. So, but I had a 20-year hiatus of Disney, and my love was reinstated when I got to take my wife. Well, we weren't married at the time yet, but and my son to Disneyland for Christmas, and it was the most fantastic trip. Being able to go as an adult and see my child's eyes light up, and that just this has to be a regular thing. So now we've done 5 trips to Disneyland in the last 7 years, and after finding you guys a couple years ago and following along with DDC 5, I felt like I couldn't miss out, and it was the most. It was a crazy decision because I kind of did it last minute, and at first I decided I was going to go solo for DDC 6, and on Thanksgiving of last year, I had decided that I was going to bring the family. I was like, "There's no way that I can do this." My first time, I had talked that I was going to wait till the 50th anniversary, and I was like, "Oh, it's so far away, I can't wait." So I did it. I booked it all, made it happen, and it was an absolute blast. And it was great to finally get back to Orlando after such a long time away.
Yeah.
So my trips to the parks have been sporadic with growing up going to Disney World, and now as an adult with kids, it was easier for us being on the West Coast to go to Disneyland.
Oh yeah.
When I was in the military, I was stationed in Las Vegas, so we were only a short 4-hour drive to Disneyland, and for how cheap you can get tickets, it was a no-brainer. And I find Disneyland to just be a far easier park to manage with smaller children in terms of definitely park hopping, because you can walk from the promenade
across the gate.
It's literally so easy. And downtown Disney's connected to it.
Right there too.
The bubble exists there. It's just a lot smaller. But being able to, in the position I am now, I feel a lot more comfortable being able to fork over the money to the mouse. So, and being with y'all, it's just it's a great to experience it with some others who have a passion for it, and has been a part of our lives for such a long time that it's that important to us to, make it a point to get together for this massive event. I think it's only gotten bigger every year, and this very well may be our largest collection of dads at one time. Are we looking forward to that, Terry? Is that what we're getting at?
Oh hell count? Yeah! What are you looking forward to most here coming up?
Well, I'm going solo, so that's going to be a new thing, and being able to spend the time in the party house, which I thought was a great decision. Being able to get everyone in one location, and I know getting a resort on property would have been, I guess, more ideal, or but realistically, you're talking at least 4 or 5 rooms
at least
spread across, and not necessarily connected. So
and we're looking at this as an experiment too, and I mean, what is it? It's $250 if whether you're going for 2 or 3 days at the party house, or whether you're going for 9 days at the party house. You can't get 9 days at $200
anywhere.
No, it was a no-brainer for me to stay at the party house when
So
like going in for $250, and I'm going to be there from Wednesday till Monday. It just was like, well, that really made the decision to be able to go solo all that much easier, because I had I still have points on the airline to get a free ticket. So, this trip is going to be quite frugal for me, I think, in terms of doing a 6-day trip in Walt Disney World. For myself alone, I could say I could be well below 1,000. Then again, we haven't been to Trader Sam's yet.
I was going to bring that up, but
I was a big fan of my one night to spend in Trader Sam's, and I'll have to say that I definitely want to continue that tradition. And being solo this time, I'm sure I can manage a few trips over to the jungle. So
I want to figure out how to get something back to your resort. Drink wise.
Yeah, that's the big kudos right there. Getting a drink to go for the wife. That was killer points right there.
She was definitely ecstatic to be able, because that was the thing, is they were standing outside the door, and they were told that we were at capacity. And I was like, we have seats. They're right here. Like I got room for butts right here. They can go right there. and they were just not having it. And we were still early too because the kids were there, so
Right.
they didn't do the what's their call? Was it 8
Outstanding
or 9 o'clock?
at 8 o'clock?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, 8 o'clock, all the kids are outstanding.
So yeah, it was definitely early on still, and we had just finished the dinner at Ohana, and I was like, well, we're right here. There's no way I'm going to miss out on Trader Sam's when it's right there. And I hadn't even made a trip over to, or no, I'd only just recently made my first trip to Trader Sam's in Disneyland just a couple months prior. So, and I didn't even get the full experience because that was at 11 a.m. So
Oh, yeah.
we got one drink and we were impressed because we were like, oh, wow, they made them pretty strong over there.
It would have been close to 5 on the East Coast.
So we were, I was like, there's definitely, after seeing, of course, DDC 5 and the events that took place the multiple nights, I was like, I got to get there. I got to see the show. I want to be able to experience this. And I didn't really have the thought that I was going to be making it to this one. But it didn't take too much convincing. I think I had my flight booked about a month later afterwards. So like pretty much as soon as it came available, it was like, oh, look I'm going. It's super cheap. And then you guys rolled out the party house and just made it even more reasonable. And so of course I've had my wife take a few solo trips, including just Vegas this last weekend. So, my stock for a solo trip, I don't look like such a bad guy when I'm arriving on our anniversary.
Pretty solid and in good shape, huh? Okay.
Your wife,
you do need cred in the bank for that, but yeah, we're glad you got it in.
Yeah.
Chris, Angel's letting you go even after Colorado?
Well, that was the great thing about that, gosh, you want to call that a 6.5 almost, a 6.25? I don't know. It was a heck of a meetup. But she got to take part, and she had a really good time. And she really liked spending time with you and Joe and Leslie and meeting Tim and Mark. And I mean, heck, that was a heck of a meetup for one heck of an occasion. So, and that was the crazy thing is she had only met you and Joe prior, and we're going into this wedding where I hadn't even met Mark. So that was
right.
That's what something this group has done, where it's like, hey, you can get an invite to a wedding to a guy you've never met, only online, and film the thing.
Absolutely.
That's the reason he invited you. He needed a
totally. Yeah, I'm a photographer for weddings, and I make cocktails for special events. Yeah. So I am totally hyped for this, and I've been talking it up for a very long time now. I'm sure I've made people sick of it, but I don't care because this is going to be fantastic. I'm a little nervous. I hope I come out alive because without a wife and kids to tame me, I might get a little,
we talk it up, but we're also old buggers there. We like to have a few drinks.
And in bed by 10.
I'm definitely tired even at 5 o'clock, so I'm falling asleep on the couch even then. So
we have a policy that what happens at Disney stays in Disney unless your friend puts it on Facebook.
Right, that's exactly what my wife had this weekend in Vegas. So
unless Adam puts it on Facebook,
we'll all be watching.
Well, it's going to be a good time. Glad you're coming as well. We look forward to Cocktails with Chris, right? So when DDC 5, Carl didn't make it to 4. DDC 5, Carl wanted to do the payback trip and was doing the cooking of the butts and all that stuff. And he spent a lot of time in the kitchen. So we streamed a lot of that activity, and we coined it Cooking with Carl. But again, as you guys have heard, Chris likes to make his own cocktails. You see he's pushing down the water in the bottom of the glass now. Chris is going to be doing Cocktails with Chris this year. We don't have David with us this year, so Chris is going to take the place of the room house bartender. And we look forward to some exciting mixes and see what he comes up with.
Patrick, you got big shoes to fill.
I know. I'll tell you. And I even before DDC 6, I was experimenting with or no, actually it was after. No, it was right before my cruise. I was experimenting with the Lapu Lapu in the pineapple. I felt that was kind of a must. Especially, actually, I've been doing it for a couple of years, ever since y'all were like, hey, core out a pineapple, freeze it, and you got a cup. And I was like, oh,
Yep.
duh, that makes total sense. So
If you could just find the core when you need it.
Right, exactly. I'll probably pack it, just, make life easier. Even on my daughter's, was it her 5th birthday? I was drinking a rum drink out of a pineapple because I'm that extra. So
Nice.
I'm really looking forward to bringing some of my favorites. And I feel like I'm pretty well practiced on a lot of the classics. I made sure I've grown some fresh herbs and mint, all that in my garden. So I make fresh mojitos, mint juleps, Moscow mules. Those are some of my favorites.
There you go.
Real classic, easy down drinks.
That's a favorite drink of the Hodge. He loves the mules.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear you've got those mastered, because that's my favorite sipping drink, to just sit there and visit and BS with the guys, and that it's not one that I love rum. You all know that. It goes down so fast, but
rum loves you
but
too.
A mule is a great conversation drink.
Yeah, like I've experimented with many of different ginger beers. In fact, we have a brewer here that makes it fresh, so I make a point to go out and get a couple of jugs of theirs, because really that's what the important thing of a mule is. I mean, your vodka is really not going to matter, because what you're going to be tasting is the ginger beer. And if you don't have a good ginger beer to start it out, and some might like the alcoholic ginger beers. I've had a few, and I find it to be overwhelming. I guess you can really have it if you want to have a real good time, but just a regular non-alcoholic ginger beer, even extra ginger really works for me. Really sets it off. It's refreshing. It's light, and it is one of those ones you can just sip on, have a good time, and you don't feel like you're overdoing it, so you can really extend the time spent with everyone and still have good conversations without any too many slurred words.
Yeah,
well, I think a lot of words get slurred no matter what.
So yeah, I definitely enjoy. I guess one I still haven't quite mastered yet, and I mostly want to get to. I don't know if anyone's a fan, but a nice classic old fashioned. I've had my fair share at the bars.
There'll be many an old fashioned drink at this DDC, I think.
There will.
Yeah. And if we want to go hard, I've got Long Island iced tea, a Texas tea, or AMF is one of my favorites. I got those always ready to go as long as we got all the stuff for it. I'm going to mix those up. And shots. I am a party animal, and I make shots. I will, and that's the time that, frou-frou will go out the door. Yeah. We're going to be so frou-frou, every shot's going to have an umbrella in it. And
pinky's out, boys.
Absolutely.
Your pinkies better be out. I'm definitely one to entertain. I like to host a lot of events. For my house, heck, I just did the fight this weekend. So,
none of us were invited.
Pretty sure I put an open invite on Facebook. So
if you have, I think I saw
it. Yeah. So I really enjoy entertaining, and I feel like a lot of y'all do too, and that's why we do what we do. And and we look at Disney as being the epitome, the master of entertainment. That's what we kind of want to hold the standard to. And the fact that we all can enjoy it together, I think it's going to be just all that much more fun. So I can't wait.
Yeah, someplace you can go hang out with a bunch of guys, drink with a bunch of guys, and somebody else is driving. Thank you, Disney Transportation. What more could you ask for, right?
Yeah, the great thing is all of us together, and we don't think it's weird. So anyone on the outside is going to look at us like,
right.
Okay, so, if that's what you think is fun.
So Jeff is asking, sorry, Jeff, I just caught this. Can you mix a Cuba Libre?
A Cuba Libre. Well, I have some time, so we're definitely going to do some research. So if there are any favorite drinks, I'm more than happy to. If it's something else, then I don't know.
Coke.
Yeah, Cuba Libre. Okay, all right. I was looking at. I have the chat here. I'm looking on my phone, and I was like, wait, okay, now I see it. But
That's a rum and Coke.
okay, I got that.
Good call, Jeff.
Well, and again, being the one of the younger ones, y'all can get some by me. So,
Well, we promise not to send you out for checkered paint or any board stretchers.
Right.
well, I did spend time in the military, so I definitely know some of the good ones. So, we definitely had guys go out there with trash bags and get an air sample from the aircraft. So.
Nice.
It'll be a good time. I am so excited. I don't know if anyone else has anything more they're looking forward to in the next couple of months, but if you're not going to be there and you're watching now, then
sucks to be you.
Snipe.
Get on.
But
the live stream
there is still time, guys.
Oh,
like
for sure.
We look at last year. Last year, what Carl decided the day of he was coming down, right?
Yeah.
Already in Florida when he said, "Hey, are you leaving yet?" I'm like, "I'm here."
So
it only took me watching all of DDC 5 to convince me that I needed to be there for 6. So, this being number 7, and if you haven't made it yet, then you know what you're missing out on, and it just is something that is special that I feel so privileged to be a part of. This is fantastic after finding you all just at random, really, too. I got into listening to podcasts, and that's what brought me to the group, was finding the DisDad podcast. And, it was all from planning a Disneyland trip with some friends, and I was trying to get some extra information so I could fill them in the best I could. And that was just a few years ago, and then here I am, and you guys welcomed me in with open arms, and this group is just, and my family. So
yeah,
I don't know how much I can praise it. Like, it's just absolutely fantastic. It is a great feeling to be a part of.
it is a really amazing group of guys.
We love to have you. I mean, I'll speak on behalf of myself, right? When you guys showed up at the picnic and you had the kids in tow and you pointed over, it's like, that guy's name is Uncle Joe, and Joe has the Mickey bars. Why don't you go with him? And I'm like, I met you 10 seconds ago, and you're already sending me off with your daughter. Impressive. But she, her little short legs, walked right behind me. She was talking the whole way, telling, all about her adventures and stuff. And we got inside, and she had the Mickey bar. We went back outside to the picnic, and it was like, we'd known each other for months, years even, right? Love the kids. It's no secret, Jay knows his kids in the same boat. Everybody's kids, Tim's kids, it's just Disney for me, and I know this will be part of my interview when we do me down the road, but Disney for me is truly the heart of family. It's where you can forget about the worries for a moment, spend time in that magical, I don't have to worry about everything place, and just let yourself go. To the point now at this age, at 48, I'm about to say, where I enjoy just walking through the park and watch the interaction. All these kids who come in for the 5th and 6th time, and then the kids that come in for the very first time, and they look down Main Street, and they look at the characters, and they realize that all of the things they've ever seen on TV and all the cartoons they've ever watched are real and right there in front of them. And it's just a great time. And again, hanging out with you guys, it just makes it that much better because we're all like-minded in that aspect. Not everybody has to drink. Not everybody does drink. But it makes for a good time pass or a good conversation piece when you're sitting at someplace like Trader Sam's and you're watching the animatronics and the entertainment that goes on in there and just getting to know everybody a little bit better, having those conversations about family and telling stories and jokes and the banter that goes on, right, between football or anything else that happens, right? You can't ask for a better way to spend a week or two away from home, away from the bills, away from the responsibilities, and just have a great time. Look forward again to seeing you guys in January. For those guys, I think Chris said it like very well earlier. For those of you who've never made it to a DDC or met up with any other DisDads, and if you're part of the group, this is the first year we've actually done an off-property house. Turned out to be a great price. We're putting in, I believe, 14 guys in this house. If this goes well, we'll probably do it again next year. Who knows? We may be able to get a bigger house, depending on how many people sign up. Like it's been discussed here throughout the video, you can't beat the price. The camaraderie, the friendship, the shenanigans of all things. We'll live stream some of it, but not all of it. Go Irish, Darcy. But anyway.
Well, you have to look at the chat to figure that one out.
Yeah.
And you're right there, though. Like, it's such a great group of guys, and with a large group in the party house, there's no expectations.
Right.
Right. It's your vacation. You do what you want.
There's the disclaimer.
And odds are you're going to find somebody else that day who wants to do the same thing, or at least part of the same thing, and you group up, you do that, or you go solo, whatever. You know, if you want an example of somebody who lives the vacation to the utmost for themselves, but also with the group, I think Jeff Fry
Absolutely.
is probably the ultimate guy, right? Like,
Yeah.
He'll be with the group, and then you turn around and he's gone. He's doing his own thing, and then before you know it, he's at the center of the group again, and he's like,
Where did you go?
Yeah. But you know, it's a great
that's what I
group
look
of
forward
guys,
to.
and there's always somebody that'll be interested in doing something. You don't have to come out. You don't have to be a big drinker, like Joe was saying. You know, you just come out and have a great time with everybody.
Right.
That's me. I don't drink at all.
Yeah, and just piggyback on what has been said, you know, about Disney, you know, and as a whole. I forgot to mention that I'm a funeral director, so I deal with death every day. So Disney podcasts, Disney, reading up on Disney, everything about Disney, the parks, everything else. This podcast is how I escape dealing with what I deal with every day. And I'm the downstairs guy at work, so I'm in, you know, the heat of everything downstairs. Right. So you know, like I said, dealing with death every day, this is my escape, and this is what I do to, you know, to keep going. You know, it's and this great group of guys, and I cannot wait to meet everybody and
looking
have
forward
fun.
to it.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it too, Murray. With being even just a volunteer firefighter, within hours, I think it was less than 12 hours of being home last year. We had a structure fire I was at for 9 hours in the ice and sleet. And it was just like, I got home and I got a shower and I'm like, this shower would be so much better if it was in Florida. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't think about it. Like, Terrence and I talked last year quite a bit about firefighting and our past. But just coming back to reality and you're like, God, again, I got to deal with I honestly did all the laundry. I laid down and the pager went off, and I'm like, oh, here we go.
So I get
reality.
Text messages on my phone no matter what. Whenever I'm on call or not on call, I still get all the text messages. The best thing is to get a death call when you're in Disney. Hey, somebody else has to deal with it. Yep. See you later. You know?
Not my problem.
Not my problem. You know, so.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time.
Like Terrence and Joe said, with Jeff Fry going on his own, I'm not one of the few, but one of the minimal that have brought my family every year. I've never come alone. So I'm glad that these guys are so willing to like do things with my family. We have ride pictures where it's Corey and Joe and Terrence and Kaylee on a ride together, and Leslie and I are nowhere to be seen in it. You know what I mean? But it's just the way they are. It's the way everybody in this group is. And I've been with Tim's kids, and you know, my daughter idolizes Andriana, and she's only met her once. But Kaylee's thinking about doing the same type of schooling that Andriana did at the same school, and that was never a thought until she met her. But now she wants to see her all the time. She follows her on Instagram. She follows her on Twitter so she can see what's going on. And she would have never met that. You know, she would have never met her. We would have never met CJ had we not gone. And that's the best part about this group is everybody in this group takes to everybody's kids and everybody's families, whether they're alone or with their family. Everybody's involved, and that's the best part about it. I'm sure Chris last year could say the same.
Oh, for sure. It was amazing, you know, coming in with not knowing anyone, or you know, or at least not ever meeting anyone in person. It was definitely I was really nervous because I had no idea what to expect. You know, who's this kid coming in? You know, we see him, you know, in the group, and you know, I'd done a few episodes on the podcast, you know, that try to get myself out there, and there's definitely something that's gotten me even more hyped about, you know, all these Disney trips, and you know, just having conversations about it all the time just keeps me more involved. And I couldn't believe just how easy it was to come into the group and feel like we'd known each other forever. You know, it's we all just have this common interest that brings us together, that it's a no-brainer, you know, that, you know, it makes these get-togethers all that more special, that we can really enjoy each other's company.
Yeah, and I'd say the other thing about that aspect, right, when we get around to the picnic time, and we've been doing it for 2 years now, right? Yeah, 4, 5, 6. 5 and 6 specifically. When the kids get together, and that's the thing, you know, the world always pays attention to kids because kids don't know race, creed, color, etc., right? They just play. And that's the very thing you see when we do the picnic on that Friday or Saturday, and all the kids get there, right? Jay's kids and Tim's kids, and then David Matt comes in with his kids, and let's see, Bob Chavez got his kids, and then Chris came in last year with his kids. They get in the little play area right there in between the gazebo and the hotel, or you know, they just play like they've known each other, and nobody picks on each other, nobody, you know, scrabbles with anybody. It's just like we've all known each other, and the kids get along so great, and it gives the adults a chance to mingle and hang out and chat and get along and get to know each other. And again, it's all about the Disney magic, and it's all family. So,
yeah. And with the kids, like Joe just said, Kaylee and Maya, Terrence's daughter, text every once in a while. Kaylee and Alex Locke are good friends. Chris's kids, when we got to Colorado, when we saw them the first time, the first words out of Tyler's mouth were, "Where's Corey?" I'm like, back in Pennsylvania. And he was like, "He's not here?" I'm like, "No, sorry, buddy."
Yeah. It was a rough go, them being the only kids there. But, you know, being in the group at the picnic, I hardly saw them. Yeah. You know, gosh, I don't even know if they ate. You know, thinking back, I know they had a Mickey bar.
I know Olivia did.
But,
yeah.
Yeah. You know, it was hilarious because I'm like, "Are you guys hungry?" And they're like, "Oh, no, we're good." They were just so preoccupied
on Mickey bars.
Yeah, well, they were preoccupied with playing and meeting all the new kids and making friends, and you know, and once we just brought everything, once we cleaned up the picnic outside and we were just hanging out in the room, I didn't see Tyler the whole time. Him and Corey were off in the other room just hanging out, you know, and it was great. No one was screaming or fighting or clawing at each other. You know, it's one of those times where it's like, are you more concerned because it's too quiet? But at that point, you're like, nah, they're good. So
yeah, they were sitting on somebody's bed playing Minecraft. I remember that.
Yeah.
I'm like,
it was great.
Chris is like, he's in with Tyler. I'm like, okay, you got
it.
This.
Was great. Yeah, it's fantastic. So I look forward to that. You know, in the coming years. You know, I can't say that I will go solo every year, simply because I did have such a good time, even though it was ungodly cold. That was a real unfortunate aspect of our very first trip together. So that's what I'm hoping for this trip, is that it's not cold, and that we have some really decent weather while we're there. So
yeah,
that's definitely another thing I'm looking forward to.
No?
What's that?
Are there any models out that far yet, or no? As far as weather,
it's always up in the air. I've literally seen it drop from shorts and sandals, and 15 minutes later, we from Canada are looking for fall coats.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even on our last day there,
to just above zero, just above freezing in a 15-minute span. That time of year from mid-December through, it seems, into February.
Yeah, we were there first week in December. That night it got cold when we were at the Christmas party. It really got cold that night. You'll see the pictures later in the night. We were bundled up as best we could, with a spring jacket on kind of thing. And that's all I brought. And a scarf because I thought it went well with a top hat, but that was it.
Yeah.
We were literally wearing our winter coats from when we came from here. We didn't change at all. And up until the last day was finally when we could not have to worry about a jacket. And we were still in pants. I don't think we could wear shorts the whole time. It maybe reached 70 on that last day while we were still there.
Last year we did have some warmer days. Last year, I think it was the tail end day, Joe.
Yeah.
Can't remember where it warmed up nicely. It's a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Exactly.
But,
I think January of this year was the first year my kids went and didn't swim at all.
Yeah. It's just that time of year, but there's always rum.
There's always rum.
Dan's got to do something to keep warm.
Yeah. Well, thanks, guys. I'd hope to in this that we'd interview Joe or Adam here too, but maybe we'll save that for a later cast. There, this one's getting a little long, a little late for you East Coasters.
Yeah, I got an hour and a half on the clock, so we probably should wrap it up. But yeah, so thanks guys again for coming on the show and being our panelist and doing your interview. We should probably come up with a better name for that. But anyway, we wanted to share some faces and names and conversation with some of these guys who are going to be at DDC 7. Look forward to the next Rum Ramblings cast. We'll have 4 more panelists. We'll try and get through a whole bunch more guys before January rolls around for sure. We'll have more updates, like I said, as we get closer. What's the 60-day windows coming up here? Not too far off, Terry.
Yeah. 27 more days. That's just 3.5 weeks before you blink. It's going to be here.
Yep.
Who's buying my park tickets before then?
Yeah.
Buy them now.
Yeah. If you
buy them now.
I already got mine.
Friended me, I can make your fast passes for you, but you also have to have a valid park ticket.
Yeah. That's next.
So the price hikes are coming, so get your park tickets in now.
Yeah, I think it's the 16th.
Yeah.
So it's like next week. So get them now.
Yeah. And if you're getting an annual pass, remember they don't become active until the first day you use them. So for those of us that are squeezing in the Lawson wedding too, it'll make sense to get the annual pass.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Again, thanks for coming. Thanks for being on the show. Thanks for sharing your insight, your family, and your information. We'll look forward to talking to 4 more guys here in maybe a couple weeks. We'll do another Rum Ramblings and bring 4 more guys on. So on behalf of Adam Dale, who had to cut short tonight, he's got some work to do. He's in Atlanta. He's off-site, not from the house, so he had to drop out early. And then Terry, as always, thanks for being on board.
Yep.
Murray, appreciate it. Chris?
No problem, guys.
Jay? Darcy?
Thanks, pal. See you real soon.
You are.
Y'all have a great night.
Good night, guys.
Night all.
Night, guys.
Thanks a lot there, guys. Looking forward to seeing you in a few short months.
See you, pal.
All right, let's see if I can get the closing going here. Transition to the close. It's Rumcast. Let's see. Where's that? Oh, no. Where's my close? There's closing statement. There you go.
We are currently experiencing technical difficulties.
Brought to you by the DisDads Club, Disney Vacation Club resorts we stay at, and we do this for viewers like you.
That's right.
Good night, all.
Por favor, manténganse alejados de las puertas.